Huge win. I appreciate, the effort and the toughness, the mental toughness and the heart that our guys, displayed the other night in a very difficult situation. I mean, it's a tough place to play, and I just have a great appreciation for how they competed. That was our first goal. Obviously, was to win the opener, and. We got that done, but for us to achieve the second goal, which is to win the division, we're going to have to improve a lot, and we will do that. We've got to improve in a lot of areas, and that's what it's all about. We got to try to develop our team to get that second goal accomplished, but it's great to be home. That's the biggest thing I can say about this week. Tim Bray alerted me to that last week. We've played 5 games in a row away from Clemson, and that's a lot of games without playing a home game, and you just didn't really think about it until he told me that last week. So, and the other thing I'm proud of our team is we've gone 4-1 in those games. And you're talking about, South Carolina, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Alabama, Auburn. These are some great programs. So it's good to be back home. I cannot wait. That's what I told the staff this morning. I mean, it's just, man, I'm so excited to be in Death Valley and to open this place back up for business. I love watching everybody work and everybody doing their part to make this such an awesome venue, and putting the flags up and people cleaning the stadium and just getting everything ready. There's so much that goes into the game day experience, because it is an experience at Clemson. I mean, it's an experience, and for the people from the traffic control to the parking to just game day event management, it is a daunting task, so that everyone can do what they love to do, and that's come spend a weekend in Clemson with their family and with their friends, and see the Tigers play. So I'm just pumped up to get it going again. Troy is they've got 16, 17 starters back. Don't have a lot of seniors, but they got a lot of guys that have played a lot of ball coming back. And biggest thing I can tell you about Troy is this is a dangerous football team. A lot of you guys will sit there and say, well, that's coach speak. No, I'm telling you right now, if they had, Auburn across their chest, this bunch right here can play. Very, very impressed with how well coached they are. I don't know Neil, Coach Brown, but look forward to meeting him and telling him just that. I know it's his second year, but I'm just telling you now, this is a very buttoned-up football team. I mean, they are impressive in all areas. How they look, how they handle themselves. They're again well coached. They have a good scheme on both sides, and that they're committed to, and they know what they're doing. Offensively, this running back, we're gonna have to put our big boy britches on to tackle this guy. He is a man. I mean, he's a 230-something pound back that looks like an NFL player. He is a big-time player. Played a couple quarterbacks last week. Both of them can throw it. They're good up front, veterans up front, a bunch of skilled guys at receiver. I'm telling you, this is a group that knows what they're doing. They went to App last year. I think we have an understanding of App State, who went 11-2 last year, and we all saw what just happened in Knoxville. But they go to App, and it's a 44-41 shootout. This bunch right here is going to beat a bunch of people this year. And so I got great respect for this team that we're getting ready to play. They're precise in what they do on offense. And so, big challenge for our defense. Very, very big challenge. And then defensively, biggest thing that jumps out at me, they're physical. They've got good athletes, and they create a lot of turnovers. I think they were top 10 or something in creating turnovers last year. They were 5th in the country in defensive touchdowns last year. So they get their hands on a lot of balls. It's a much, much different scheme from what we saw last week as far as, it was a lot of man coverage. These guys do a lot of different type of things from a zone standpoint. With some exotic stuff that you don't see all the time with some of the trap corners and different techniques that they play. So we'll have to really do a good job of being disciplined. When people are just lining up and playing man-to-man, the decisions get easy, all right? Throw it to that guy and let's see if we can make a play. But when you're playing these zone teams that have people all over the place, you have to be very, very disciplined in your route running, very, very disciplined at quarterback, and making sure that you're reading and keying the right things so that you can go through the proper progression. So this is going to be a big challenge for us offensively as well, but we're looking forward to it. I know y'all get tired of hearing me say it, but this is the biggest game of the year, and we are simply trying to get to 1-0. That's the mentality of our team, and just to grow our strengths, to improve our weaknesses, and just try to develop our group. That's really what we're trying to do. But look forward to being in the stadium with our home crowd. And man, I hope everybody will show up. I think Tim said there may be a few tickets left. I hope by the end of the week there's no tickets left because we're going to need a great crowd, and we need to show up and be ready. I'm telling you, this team right here is going to be a handful, all right? And I remember very, very vividly in 2011 jogging off the field at halftime against this team down 16-13, and everybody was booing, including my wife, all right? So, all right, and my mom and my mother-in-law. So I remember everybody. It was not a pretty sight. So, man, we need to get excited about getting in the Valley, and I think we've won 16 in a row here at home, and our crowd deserves a lot of credit for that. So let's show up and do our part in that standpoint to support this team that has worked really, really hard, and they'll be excited. I promise you, they'll be excited to get back and play here at home. 5 games away. Everybody's looking forward to being in the Valley. With that, I'll take your questions.
Coach, this is your 3rd straight opponent from the state of Alabama. I was just wondering if you had any history or ties to Troy other than Coach Koenig, of course. Isn't
that crazy? It's just amazing how that works out. To Troy, well, I've known Larry Blakeney forever, way back. Known him a long, long time, and I always had great respect for him and the job that he did at Troy. When they were a 1AA team, they were dominant, and eventually made that move, and he did an incredible job of building a very consistent program. I don't know a lot of the guys there on the staff now. Obviously, no Coach Vic, but don't know a lot of the other guys. But they've got a long tradition, and I can't say enough about how impressed I am of how well coached this team is in all areas. So, they kicked 3 onside last year. So hold on your hat for that, and got all 3 of them. So this is a good football team that's going to challenge us in all areas.
Have you kept in touch with Vic at all since he was here? Have you been able to keep in touch from overview?
Just to see him from time to time at a convention or something like that.
You mentioned their running back. They had a lot of guys that had a lot of big numbers last week. Is there anyone else that kind of stands out to you when you look at their offense aside from their running back?
Yeah, all their receivers, they play about 7 or 8 of those guys. That number 8 is jacked up, big, strong kid. They like to throw the ball up to him. They've got little number 15. He's a scatterbug. They put him all over the place, and they played 12 and 3 at quarterback, and 12. He made some throws. Guys in his chin strap, and he's throwing touchdown passes. He's fearless. Incredibly impressed with his toughness. And then same thing with number 3, their backup. He came in and he first play throws a touchdown pass. So all of their skill guys, I think they're physical up front. Their left tackle's a very good player. So, they do a great job with their double teams and really understand their scheme and what they're doing. They're going to try to play with tempo, a lot of run-pass option stuff. Everything's a play action, so they really create a lot of stress. There's going to have to be some competitive plays won by our corners and our safeties. This is going to be a challenge for them because you can't give them a lot of space. You've got to be able to challenge them and then hope that we can win the matchup up front.
It's hard to call Vic's MO. He's typically done a good job focusing on your big play guy, the big play guy on the other team, the opponent. Do you see much difference in what he's done the last little while?
I think he's been very consistent as far as who he is and what he believes in. I think to be good coach at anything, you got to have an identity. You got to have something you hang hat on, something that you believe in. That's the only way your guys are going to buy into what you do. And Vic's a heck of a coach. He's a heck of a coach, and he did a lot of good things here. There was a challenge a lot of times going against him on this practice field out here with some of the things that they do, and he's had a long, successful career at a lot of really good places. He was at North Carolina a couple years ago when we played him here. He's a good football coach, and even though it wasn't a situation where, it was an awkward situation here in that time when things played out like they did on an interim basis, I always have a great appreciation for Vic and how he handled himself those 7 weeks that we worked together in a different role. Because he could have, walked away, he could have said no, but he really was professional and did a heck of a job. He did a heck of a job, and took down the stretch there. And so I always have an appreciation for the role that he played in helping us at that time. But he's got a scheme that he believes in, and there's a lot of carryover. But that's why he's been successful, and they'll have some things, I'm sure, to try to attack our protections. Certainly, we'll have some things to try to minimize Mike. That's just what good coaches do. But we got to have answers for that.
Coach, Tony Elliott told us that jumbo goal line package with Christian Wilkins and Dex Lawrence was your brainchild. Wayne Gallman said yesterday that was the easiest thing that he's done in college, walking into the end zone. When did you come up with that, and was it always as effective in practice as it was on Saturday night?
Well, when we signed Dexter and I saw him this spring, I said, yep, we're going to be using this big boy. I just, after spring, we didn't mess with it in the spring. Just, brought it to him this summer and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to have a little package, and use these guys. So we just started practicing it in fall camp. So we got a nice package out of it that we can go to when we need it. And, those are some big, heavy-duty guys that take pride in that. It's really not rocket science. It's just, can you get 1 yard? Can you move that guy against his will? That's what it comes down to. It's not like you're going to trick a lot of people. Most of the time, the bigger talented guy usually beats the smaller talented guy, and so that's really all it was.
And thought to expand that presence?
You never know. We throw fake punts to D tackles around here. You never know what we're going to do.
I'm serious.
You never know.
Who were some players that you didn't get on the field last week you'd like to see this week?
Yeah, that was probably one of the biggest disappointments for me out of the game. I did a poor job of managing our personnel like I wanted to, and again, first game and very difficult place, and I'm gonna do a better job with that. In fact, I apologize to some of the guys because I just it's frustrating to me when we got some guys that deserve to play that don't get the opportunity to get in there, and a guy like Maverick Morris, for example, a guy like Falcinelli, they deserve to play. Now again, there's no entitlement to play, and sometimes you have guys that are pretty close, and you just, kind of like what we got at D tackle right now, and you just play them. But then you have situations, like a Trey Lamar. Okay, well, he's a young guy, and Kendall's been here, this is his third year, and there's just a little, he's coming. But those 8 plays he got were critical. But I did a poor job because we should have got Justin in there. Maverick should have played, deserved to play. Should have got J.D. Davis in there. He deserved to play. He's had a great camp. There were a few guys like that. Albert Huggins was another guy that should have played that we didn't get in there. And so you'll see that's an area we've got to do a better job of, and that's all on me. So I've got to manage that a whole lot better. Because you got to develop your team, and these guys work really, really hard, and the guys that deserve to play, we got to get in there so that we can develop the depth that we're going to need for the long haul. Sometimes you get in a moment of a game, and as coaches, you get so caught up in that situation, you kind of lose sight of some of those things, and that's where I got to do better.
On that subject, the 2 safeties and Cordray played the whole game.
Yeah.
Same for the second.
Well, we went into that game. I was, as I told y'all, I think I told y'all last week, the one area that we're going to have to be very cautious right now, in that particular game especially, was at safety. That's where we're the greenest. Really talented, and you saw Denzel Johnson showed up. Man, he was spectacular on our special teams, and Muse, same thing. Those 2 guys, but again, we just. That was more by design. Kareem was really the guy that was going to kind of be the sub guy in that game. But you'll see those guys. We'll get them in there. But we knew that we were going to play Ryan and Mark and Cordray. Those 3 guys, we were going to play them the most. We got Edmund back now. He was ready to play last week if we needed him. And so now having him back in the mix really helps us. But we got to bring, the Trayvon and Kayvon Mullins. Those are guys that we can get going here because we're going to need them.
On Edmund, is he 100% healthy?
Yeah,
Just trying to...
yeah, he's ready to go. Like I say, he could have played Saturday, but he just had missed so much time, and it just was a situation where we would have played him if we needed him. He would have been the first guy in there had we needed him, but we didn't.
Dabo, can you maybe enlighten us on the balance of tempo offense and on one hand and managing the game and getting yourself in the right play on the other? Is that kind of maybe more difficult than some people?
Yeah, I think, first of all, we got to do a little better job. I thought our tempo was average the other night, but you don't want to go so fast that you trick yourself either. And I think when you kind of go at a blitz pace, it's got to be very simple, and you got to, you can't have personnel changes and really not a lot of formation changes. And we get into some of that from time to time, but we're a tempo team, but we do process a lot. We want to have the best play, and a lot of that goes on to our quarterback, and him being trained properly and being able to make the correct decision. But you pick your spots for us in the flow of the game and just the feel. But we don't want to hurry up and run a bad play. That's not the objective. We want to play with great tempo. We want to attack. That's always been our philosophy. But we do want to give ourselves a chance to be successful. And sometimes when you're playing some of these teams that like the other night, there's so many unknowns. There's a lot of communication stuff going on. That's one of the things I was most pleased with was our offensive line. We had nobody jump offside, and we had no missed target. We targeted all night. Now, we had a couple of times we got beat, but it wasn't because we were turning people loose. We were on the same page and ID'd things properly, and there was a lot of stuff that was coming at our guys. And so I was very, very impressed from an offensive line standpoint and what we were able to do. And that was part of it. But when you can get that tempo going, then you simplify some of those things defensively. And as you go in the course of the season, you tend to know more about the opponent that you're playing as opposed to last weekend.